Hello all and welcome back to another wonderful video. Today I'm here about to share yet another one of my short stories. The last video where I shared a short story actually did surprisingly well in comparison to what I expected, so I'm going to continue doing that. I'm going to do a second one here, and if it does just as good, perhaps we'll do a third one. I have plenty of short stories and I can always read another chapter from Birthmark. But for now, here is a short story that I like to call, Are We About to Die? In the darkness of a one-bedroom apartment, something was moving that shouldn't. It was the front door which was rattling, but there was no visible cause. The rattling abruptly ended, and the sound of strong wind exploded from its place. Anything light enough to be knocked over was. Meanwhile, in the bedroom just a few steps away, a down-on-their-luck person was sleeping peacefully, unaware this would be the night their life was ruined. The peaceful sleep soon became anything but. Their legs moved around restlessly. They tossed and turned. Their sleep was no longer sleep, but instead a struggle to return to sleep. The vicious wind exploded through the door and into the bedroom, and again it caused many things to fall over. The struggle to return to sleep was thrown away as the urgency of the noise forced this poor soul up. Looking forward with half-closed eyes and a panic, the room seemed empty, but of course it wasn't. Something was here besides the shitty furniture and the half-eaten pizza they forgot to throw away. Psst, psst. Hey, a faint, raspy voice whispered. Who's there? The panicked sleeper responded. You know, I'm still not sure if it's whom, the voice responded with greater clarity. The voice was familiar to the now wide-awake mortal, but how it was, they couldn't understand yet. It made things far scarier, but they got worse 10 seconds later. A humanoid figure began to form at the foot of the bed, and at last they knew who this was. Ghost! Whoa, shh, the ghost shushed while covering their ears. A pillow flew through their body a few seconds later, and the ghost reacted by staring back in a disappointed manner. Okay, but to my credit, I've never dealt with ghosts before. What do you want? Well, this is going to be hard to grasp, so just trust what I'm about to say. Got it? The ghost offered. Okay, say what you need, but go away after. The ghost sighed and went ahead with its explanation. I'm pretty sure I'm you, the ghost claimed. Okay, I'm moving away. A quick hop out of the bed and a casual stroll towards the door later, and the ghost became desperate to keep their mortal self in their room. Their only idea in that short moment, though, was to throw a pillow at the back of their head, but ghostly movements are not the same as human movements. So, instead of reaching for a pillow, the ghost phased through that pillow and picked up a shoe and threw that at their mortal self instead. The realization of this mistake wasn't clear until the impact of the shoe caused them to fall face first into the door and break their nose. Oof, well, that didn't kill me at least, the ghosts said to themselves. Their mortal self sat against the door and tried to touch their broken nose, only to feel severe pain. What the fuck? Listen, me, us, whatever. I am you after you die. That doesn't make any sense. How could we be the same person if we're in the same place then? Okay, so how can I word this? Well, time, it kind of, the ghost struggled. Their mortal self took this opportunity to stand up, leave the room, make a shot of whiskey, an ice pack with those little Ziploc bag things, and a bit of medicine for their nose, all before returning, and all without their ghost self even realizing. So you see, basically time just stops working after you die, the ghost finished explaining. Okay, fine. Whatever. Let's say that made any sense. Why are you here haunting yourself? Am I that much of an asshole in the future or something? I have no idea, but the reason why I'm here is because I need to find out how I died. Or how we died? This is gonna get confusing pretty fast. Are you saying I'm about to die? No, I think I might be at the wrong time. I've already tried a couple of others, and they were wrong too. All I know for sure is we were older than 30 when it happened, the ghost explained. We turned 29 in 2 days. Ah, fuck. Well, I'll be on my way then. And without a chance to explain anything to themselves, the ghost turned into a ball of light and shot through the ceiling. It was years later, the same mortal entered the same bedroom and took off their work hat. They sighed in deep depression, and just like that, a ball of light entered the room and became the ghost once again. "I can explain," the ghost said. "Holy shit, it's you again! I've written you off as a hallucination! I can't believe it!" The ghost awkwardly paused and thought, "I thought this was our first time meeting." "Oh well, doesn't matter. Are you about to die?" The mortal looked around and then at the ghost. "No, I don't think so, but wait right here." And with that, they left the room in search of something. Meanwhile, the ghost didn't listen to their mortal self and once again became a ball of light and left the building. A moment later, their mortal self came back in excitingly with a camera in hand. They sighed with disappointment and set the camera down on a nightstand. Many years later, and the same person was this time sitting at a park fountain. They wore baggy clothes and were filthy, but they seemed happy. They watched pigeons gather around, and so spectacularly, a ball of light zoomed up to them. It became the ghost, and the birds were spooked into flying away. The ghost's mortal self was startled into falling backwards into the fountain. The ghost looked down into the fountain where their mortal self burst out and gasped for air. "Hey, are we about to die?" the ghost asked. Their mortal self angrily slapped the water and stood up in the fountain. "Fuck, don't scare me like that, or next time the answer might be yes. Also, I have no idea." Ah, dang. Too bad. The ghost turned into a ball of light, and their mortal self jumped out of the fountain and grabbed it with their hands. Wait, they shouted. The ball of light floated through their hands and zoomed off. They were left no choice but to yell at the sky in frustration. It wasn't many years later this time. Instead, it was 30-something years prior, and the ghost found itself in a kindergarten class. They looked around at all the children, and they all looked back at it. None of them said a word, and they all stopped quietly and still at the sight of the ghost. The ghost awkwardly took a step backwards and nervously mumbled to themselves. So it was a left turn. And whoosh, the ghost was gone again, and the kids all began playing and doing what they were doing. Meanwhile, the teacher was cowering in the corner while on the phone with a loved one, explaining to them they are terrified. Terrified because to them, the kids all stopped and stared at the same corner for no reason at all. The ball of light that was the ghost arrived in a desert with very little signs of life. The ghost looked around and saw a lizard stand up on a rock nearby. The ghost leaned over to look at the lizard closer. Too far. This is the 13th, not the 12th. The ghost became an orb of light again and zoomed away, leaving the lizard to continue doing its lizard things. At last, the ghost returned to their adult human self. This time, they were sitting in a coffee shop wearing very expensive-looking clothing. The ghost appeared in front of them, and immediately they stood up from the table. No, no, no! They screamed. Everyone in the room looked at them because, yes, this was seemingly a psychotic breakdown to them. "Shh, don't start screaming. It's just me again," the ghost whispered. "I know it's you. Now go the fuck away!" The ghost moved a bit closer, and their mortal self reacted by throwing their coffee at them. Unfortunately, they must have forgotten how ghosts work, because the coffee flew straight through the ghost and at an innocent bystander who was just trying desperately not to look. The poor bystander and the people around them all stood up and started yelling about it. "Oh, is this where we die?" the ghost excitingly questioned while backing away to observe. "Stay out of my life. It's finally getting back on track," their mortal self exclaimed. Their ghost simply shrugged and watched as their mortal self was punched in the face by one of the bystanders. Sadly for everyone involved, this was not where they died. And so, of course, after watching an incredible fight that their mortal self refused to take part in except to get hit like a punching bag, the ghost depressingly turned into a ball of light and zoomed away. It was some time later. Even the ghost was unsure how much time it had been, but they found themselves in a dimly lit room. It was completely empty and large. The ghosts looked at their surroundings, unsure what the heck was going on. Their mortal self entered the room with a chair and locked the door behind their self. They set the chair in front of the ghost and sat in it. Are we about to die?" the ghost questioned. "You know, we just might be," their mortal self stated with a very cold voice. It doesn't look like it. Then please, by all means, travel a day into the future at this exact spot, and there you'll see my corpse." "Ooh, thanks!" The ghost became a ball of light and zoomed away. It arrived in the same room a day later, and next to nothing was different. Their mortal self was even sitting in the same chair in the same position. Their arrival didn't even spook them. Shouldn't we be dead?" the ghost questioned. "Oh, I'm sorry. Looks like I forgot to do that. Please come in tomorrow," the mortal self apologized. Okie dokie! The ghost became a ball of light and zoomed towards the ceiling. Something different happened this time, though. Instead of phasing through it, they bounced off like a rubber ball before smashing against the floor in their ghost form. The mortal self chuckled and stood up from the chair. They revealed a very ugly-looking book from under their shirt. What's going on? Why can't I leave? The ghost wondered out loud. I've been waiting for you. I've been waiting a long time for you, their mortal self bellowed. They sounded incredibly insane. The ghost didn't seem to care, though, and only tried to leave again. Alas, they bounced off the walls, off the floor, and off the roof. They truly could not leave. The ghost wondered if this is because they were about to die, and that's why they couldn't travel to future moments. After your last visit, I did some research, the mortal self explained as they circled the ghost. After all, I had lots of time because of where they put me. So I'm guessing we're about to die. If you could hurry that along, that'd be great, the ghost responded. The mortal self realized that their ghost self was ignoring them, so they reached into their pocket. Whoosh! They threw strange powder at their ghost self, and they yelped in pain as steam floated from their body. What the fuck was that? Wait, how did I feel that? The ghost questioned. I learned all about how to deal with ghosts. The reason you can't leave is because of the salt circle surrounding this room. The reason this powder hurts you is because I cast a spell on it and used the proper herbs. The reason you're going to die today is because I am going to kill you! The ghost backed away until they were cornered in the room. They began panicking. How was any of this possible? How could they change the timeline and not die? Come on, don't do this. I just wanted to see us die. I don't want to die. The ghost verbally panicked. Their mortal self laughed maniacally at their ghost self and their cry for life. Alakamana Vasu! The mortal cried out as they threw powder at their ghost self. The powder burned the ghost self, and they slowly evaporated while screaming incomprehensibly. At last, the ghost was gone. It no longer existed, and their mortal was free. They laughed happily at what they had done and turned around to begin cleaning up. Standing in front of them once again was a ghost that looked exactly like them. This scared the mortal into leaping backwards and accidentally dropping the book and all the powder all over the floor. Whoa, just chill, the new ghost said. I'm just the ghost of your ghost trying to see how he died, and I just saw it. So thanks. And just like that, this new ghost evaporated in a glorious display of light. The mortal sighed in relief and then burst out in laughter at how ridiculous their 63 years of life had been up to this point. They were finally at peace and would never have to see another ghost again. That is that story, the story I like to call, Are We About to Die? So I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was honestly the longest short story that I have out of the collection of short stories that I've written recently. I think I have some somewhere else that's not on my computer that are probably just as long or longer or something like that. But for now, that is that story. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please do give me some feedback on some background gameplay or whatever else I ended up showing in this video, as well as perhaps some criticisms and critiques or whatever else on this short story itself. But for now, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do consider liking, subscribing, sharing, and doing all of those wonderful things like that. Because when you do those wonderful things like that, not only do you get access to wonderful content such as this, but you also get to become wonderful yourself. And I think we all want that. So do those wonderful things, and until next time, stay wonderful.